Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? To me, you are of dream. You are of suffering. You are of tears and prayers. For you are hope. And I humble myself before you. In 1983, they put the chains on me. Basically, this is what I knew for over 3 decades. 32 plus years. I was the first offender. I received a life, no parole sentence. Life, no parole means that you die in jail. When you die, who is ever left will retrieve you in a body bag. It went on. To tell the law, I would be here a very long time. There's a word called solitary. And I knew it well. I knew it well. I was put in solitary confinement for 5 years of those 32 plus years. So much so that I didn't count the weeks, the months. I counted the Christmases. One such time, in the wee hours of the morning, I was chained up, and I was taken to an obscure prison in the heartland of America. I was taken to a condemned part of the prison in a sub-basement. There, I was put in an illegal cell. The cell is called a boxcar cell, which means 4 steel walls, 2 steel doors, solid. The only opening is 2 small food slots at the bottom, where they get a stick, a long stick, and your food is shoved into you. So in this steel tomb, my only salvation was light. The light went out, and I was engulfed in darkness. The days passed. The only light is when the food was shoved into me. Down on my hands and knees, I retrieved it. I asked for light. I argued for light. I cursed for light. I screamed for light. I received none. Down on my hands and knees, days later, some muddy angel came and brought a small piece of hope. It was a pencil. So I took this piece of hope and I began writing on that steel. I wrote ugly things at first. Then something inside me wrote creative things, short stories, poetries, the names of loved ones. And I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote. I sharpened it with my teeth. And every time I tasted the lead, I knew I can go on. Time passed. They opened the doors, the light flooded in, and I heard one of the guards say, "The son of a gun wrote all over the walls." Solitary went on. Time passed. Again, in the wee hours of night, I was taken to another obscure prison, long ride away, and placed in a criminally insane unit. Remember what I said, I was a nonviolent first offender. Criminally insane unit. Surrounded by guards, I was taken to this place that you read about, seen movies, I was stripped of what little I had on and given paper garments, t-shirt, shorts, and slip-on paper shoes, and the bedding. The reason why, when you're in the criminally insane unit, they don't want you to hang yourself. Paper will not sustain the weight. So, oh, and incidentally, the chain, they put a chain on my right ankle, attached it to the steel bed, just enough room so I could reach the toilet, the sink, and the food slot. And that's how I remained. Oh, there was powers that be that decided to do all this. What can you do? You find something from in here. It's there. It's in all of you. You find it. I found it in the criminally insane unit, in that cell, by getting on top of the toilet, an event about big as a shoebox. And I started communicating with the other criminally insane. Naturally, I wasn't. And I started mentoring them. So by me speaking to them, that was sort of like the pencil, that vent. So the solitary years went away. And I was actually put in a normal prison setting. Imagine that. I felt like I was free in a normal prison setting. There, I went on to educate myself through the programs. Finally, when I got to the stage that I can go to college and get a Pell Grant, I was denied. Congress denied me because they said I was never getting out. They didn't waste the money on someone who was going to die in prison. Did I withdraw? No. I found that little bit of hope. I took it out and I self-educated myself in many, many fields, so much so that I graduated over 8,000 students in those 32 plus years. I designed my own curriculum. I was approved from Washington on down to have these classes where these individuals that are trying to change their lives, be frank, so they won't come out and harm you or others. I did my job. But the reason my classrooms were so full, because the students and the prison grapevine, things travel. They knew, hey, there's a guy, he's teaching, and he's never getting out. But he's teaching year after year after year. And that's why the classes were so full, because there was me with no hope, delivering hope to so many. I graduated 400 students every season of the year. 7 classes at the time. It was the hope to keep going. Some of my students went on to do productive lives in publishing and paralegals. One of my students was homeless till he came to prison, and he was a little unbalanced, but there was something in him. He smiled and he talked and he liked to tell stories. So I brought him in to the creative writing class, and today he's a prolific writer. Again, there's something in all of us. One such institution, very violent institution, you only get maybe 1 or 2 chances, and then you're chained up and you're sent to the solitary situation, which I knew very well. So if I had a chance not to have a human being exposed to that, I did my best, and I went to the warden and I said, listen, can you give me a chance with these guys that you already have put the thumbs down on? So I created a class called the Pit. And these were the incorrigibles. Nobody wanted them in any department, any educational department. So my cell was a little larger because I needed a larger cell to create the Pit. And I went around and I procured folding chairs. So I would have the folding chairs lined up in the cell, and I would get these men and then teach them. And I didn't have a blackboard. I had a wall. There's 4 walls in the cell, so I went and bought blue soap. I went blue soap from the commissary. With the blue soap, I could write on the wall and, teach my lessons. So I created the Pit, and I had a lot of success with that, where these men wouldn't be chained up and taken off to solitary. And the Pit were basically, a majority of them were never getting out. But I was never getting out. Remember, I was never getting out, but I had hope. I had hope, and I made my metamorphosis And basically, some people research me, I had to do heroic deeds. I had to do heroic deeds. I saved the Con Air hijacking in 2010. Took me 5 years to get the credit. 5 years, bureaucracy's in place. It'll always be in place in this country. And you cannot hate it. You must be patient with it. And from that, intelligence will come, and you can meet that bureaucracy in the best way you can. And another heroic deed, prison riot, I saved 30, 40 lives. But, that was considered first. There were two things I said. There were heroic deeds. The last thing was the graduation of 8,000 students. That should have been the first. That should have been the first. And now I'm out here, and I'm trying to deliver the message the best I can, but hope is there. Every time I turn a corner, if I see a robin on grass, that is hope to me. Those little things mean so much to me now. Again, I've been speaking to a large audience in prison, but this is my first in the free world, and I so enjoy it, and I hope to continue it. Thank you. Good day.